All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, September 30th, last day of the pay period, as Fausto had brought up earlier this morning. But great to see all of our students and trial members alike live inside the cyber group room, perhaps waking a couple of us up heading into this relatively slow Thursday afternoon. Great to see Norman, Leda, though, William, Brian W., Scott J., Bill, all of our students and members alike, like I'd said. And hey, if you're joining us today on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, as always, welcome on back. So without further ado, we got to hop right into this MDIA trade. Medea, as I'll kind of nickname it going forward. But MDIA ended up making a really nice pop for us just before this meeting started. I didn't even check Benzinga Pro to see if there was any news on it. The thing I wanted to really bring up on this stock is that we're not really unfamiliar with this trade, right? We've seen the stock make a big pop going back into the beginning of July, ended up running up from like $4 all the way up towards near 20 and then dropped off. So, I'd said this, I think it was yesterday, and I forgot the stock, actually, to be honest. No, I remembered. It was the ALF. It's to say, for a former runner, right? Like this ALF popped in late June. If we can get a fraction of the type of run that we caught back on that day, that would be a massive success. So that was back a couple of days ago on the ALF trade. But for right now, MDIA, former runner, hey, the stock is up right now just over 22%. It's near the highs, retesting 12 as we speak. So you know what? Hey, we'll easily put this on our list to begin. Great to see a former runner make another move back up, and hopefully this keeps going. All right, so I'll tell you otherwise, this is just the stock that we started off this meeting with, but we had our eyes on a couple of trades from earlier today, some stocks that were on the C2 morning watch list. Actually, one that I'll be very transparent with you folks and say there's a pretty good chance I'm about to get stopped out on right now on a tiny trade, but CEI for right now, I got a stop set below 370. It's to say, though, for right now, this stock, right now at this point, is beginning to drop off. I caught this right off the shake at 373, like right before this meeting started. So a very low risk entry. At least I had my stop set at 69. But it's to say this stock ended up making another slingshot for us. Looks like a really messy chart. Doesn't really look too easy or steady of a trend like we had from yesterday. But I'll tell you, history repeats itself to a good degree. I mean, this was a massive drop. I could not have believed the drop off that we had yesterday. And then from there, more than that, the slingshot back up. But it's to say, hey, if this stock ended up crashing yesterday from like 485 all the way down to 289, like a near 2 point drop for a $4 or $5, that's insane. So if it could bounce like that, then hey, I'd hope to see a fraction of that type of bounce the next time we see a major support level get tested. Not 370 where I'm in from, but to say from 350 right here, I ended up jumping in, loading in on a bunch of shares. It's cheap enough for you to still, trade more shares than you're normally used to. If you're that's to say, if you're a very skilled trader or someone that has a pretty good idea as far as how to set stops and manage risk. But, obviously this ended up making a really nice slingshot shortly thereafter from the 350 level, moved up just about 45 cents. I was scaling out incrementally. I got out on the last half right under 390. And it's to say for right now, this stock, I mean, pretty good chance I'll be getting stopped out here at this point. If it's not going to pop up and break higher, well, there's only one other direction the stock's going to go. So, I understand the risk on that, but for right now, even as volatile as this stock is, and although I'm in it right now, I'm not as keen to put this on the main special afternoon watch list just yet. If it ends up showing more signs of life coming up here, perhaps if it breaks under 370, and if it were to, it would stop me out. But if it breaks under and right back over this big iceberg order at 370, perhaps that could be the real entry, the real slingshot from there. So perhaps we'll come back to this stock just at the end of it all. That's all there. All right, then otherwise, BBBY, Bed Bath Beyond, ended up making a really nice run earlier on this morning. It was holding this really steady trend line off the lows, as you could see. But, for as much as this stock dropped in pre-market, you would like to anticipate, well, a dead cat bounce, a little short squeeze back up, and then from there, perhaps a drop off, a trend back down, and to see the stock begin to pull back. So we had an iceberg order on level 3, and it was on level 4, the program we nicknamed level 4, aka Bookmap. It's to say we had some big iceberg orders on this trade at $16, at $15, another dollar below there. So I was pretty hopeful after the morning finished up to see this begin to kind of curdle back down, for it to begin to break the trend line, drop off really nicely. And it really hasn't done that yet. I mean, it did break the trend line right here, and then from there dropped off a bit. But I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't have the line on my screen, but exactly at $17.28. That is a damn strong level just from volume getting filled across the late morning, early afternoon. So for right now, I'm not as keen to put this on our main watch list either at this time. It is pretty volatile in a good way, at least to say, if this shows some signs of life, at least by the end of this meeting, much like the CEI, perhaps I'll put this on our list at the end. All right. Really quickly, a couple chats coming in on YouTube right now from Daniel F. Look at this, and I know Jeffrey M. If he's in our live trading room, he'll be pretty happy. Says AMC running. All right. So right away, well, we would normally go from top to bottom and perhaps recap those stocks otherwise that we ended up calling out and trading from the morning. But let's check out AMC. What's up with AMC here? Whoa, that's the type of run that I want to trade. So we were talking about this in class yesterday afternoon in terms of opportunity cost. And with AMC yesterday, after this drop off, the stock wasn't providing much for us at all here in this range. So for a $35, $36 stock, this is not the range that you want to really, trade with. You want to follow the stock at least at the market open when it can make a faster move up or down. Or right now, I don't know if there's news out on AMC, but that's a hell of a call out. And definitely for right now, we'll put the AMC trade on our watch list. Let's see. Well, no real headline out there on AMC, so it could just be a short squeeze. Maybe the Reddit crowd is back on it again. BB BlackBerry will check out pretty quick. It's only up 0.36%, but it's starting to spike up slightly there. It's a Reddit stock, so I'm not going to put that on our main list just yet. Definitely AMC. Express is doing jack right now either. So, these are all stocks that ended up popping and running, of course, going back into, the beginning of this year with GameStop and AMC namely. But I'll tell you what, AMC seems to be the leader of all of these pops and moves so far. So definitely a great shout from Daniel on YouTube here, and we'll put the AMC on our list for right now too. All right, so we will go from top to bottom. Otherwise, folks, see what else we got. The ALZN made a nice move for us earlier today. We'll check that out in just a moment. Number one, though, up 36+%. The OG stock, it's near the highs right now. Seems like a new IPO, actually, just dating back to late June or no, early to mid-May, I guess. Ended up hitting a high of 1171 before pulling back down. And for what it's worth, it's getting kind of close up to there now here, but the order book is just too thin. The stock's trading only about like 3,000 to 4,000 shares per minute, and the stock has, like I'd said, very thin volume on the book. So, this is not your typical stock that we would normally put on our list that's breaking all-time highs. Like go back to earlier this week, it was the AEHR stock. Before that, I think we had Life, LIFE, obviously PALT, big mover from yesterday. That stock had a pretty liquid order book yesterday, a little bit more, at least compared to the OG trade there. So, listen, I'll pass on the OG stock for right now. Got this FAMI trade. I guess it just dropped down to number 3 on the gainers list. But, this stock from yesterday, we actually did pretty well on, at least, for those of us not in class, perhaps. But we ended up seeing the stock during the afternoon meeting make a nice run up, ended up breaking higher from 30. This was one of the best trades from yesterday afternoon. Obviously pushed up a bit more overnight into the pre-market, but yeah, I'd said yesterday, and I'll say it again here, we're normally not as keen to, trade these stocks below $1. Although this one's listed on the NASDAQ, this is not like a pink sheet, bulletin board, OTC stock. No, this is a real stock listed on the NASDAQ. But normally these stocks below $1 normally don't make as clean or concise of a move. So it's great to have that run yesterday, but I'm not as interested in that right there. Let's see. The PROG stock ended up making a nice pop from earlier. I was hopeful to see support build off of 135, but it broke below that price rather quick, slumped off, and I took my eyes off it after. Another cheapie, AEZS, but this is making the same type of move or trend up as the FAMI trade was yesterday. So, we don't normally put them on our list, but I'll tell you what, if there's an opportunity with this pushing up, at least here at the highs, I don't mind slipping it on our back end of the watch list for right now. Maybe you can grab 5 cents, 8 cents, perhaps if it goes up to 80 cents up top here. That's 79 cents. 79 could be a nice top. All right, we'll keep it going, folks. See what else we got here. Medea, MDIA, we talked about this already. Getting a little choppy, and also the order book is relatively thin. So, I'd said that on OG, which I'm not a fan of. So, Medea will keep on our list for right now, making a sharper pop here. But I would just be careful for this thing to come back down. The PALT trade, not much happening now at this stage, as you could see. All right, I got stopped out on CEI just now, folks, right at that 369 price I said. HYZN made a nice run from earlier today, ended up breaking a new high right as we started this meeting and pulled back. So I'll tell you what, I mean, although it pulled back, the stock is still pretty strong from where it had started from today. So HYZN, I don't mind putting on our list for right now. Blue Apron, the stock's been on a nice roll, really better as a swing trade than a day trade. But this stock, as you could see, ended up making a nice move earlier today from $6.50, ended up running up to 7, broke over 7 a bit later on in the afternoon and ran up 50-60 cents. So, definitely side list worthy, this Blue Apron stock. Just the issue on it is that it doesn't really trade a whole lot of volume per minute. All right, so we'll keep it going here. LPTX, definitely a familiar name. As you could see, ended up making a nice run from the early afternoon, but more than that, ended up breaking above the highs that we had back from this week and last. So that's pretty interesting. We'll take a look on the daily or weekly chart to see if it's all-time highs. And well, not all-time highs, but perhaps it broke above historical resistance here. I mean, this perhaps could have been back from yesterday or the day before off of roughly 328-ish or 325 perhaps. For what it's worth, hey, for right now, this LPTX we are pretty familiar with. We've traded the stock, recently across the last week or two. So I'll slip it on our list for right now. We'll kind of cherry pick across the gainers and losers list otherwise and see if there's just anything looking even better. It would be hard to write off space. SPCE, I'm sure a stock that the Reddit crowd's chirping about alongside AMC. But otherwise, this stock is making a really nice run back up here from 25, pushing up, assumingly up to the next major resistance off of 26. But yes, space would be hard to kind of keep off our list here. All right, so we'll keep it going, see what else we got. Market's starting to bounce back up a little bit. Lizzie here, not much there. TAL. See, this one's at the highs, but it's like too slow right now for us. I'd rather follow something else. CAN, same thing, pretty lackluster right now. LAC, Fausto was calling this out earlier today. Ended up making a nice pop shortly after the market opened up. For what it's worth, hey, it's at the highs, trading about 7,000 shares per minute, and stock has pretty good liquidity on the books. So, not just for the sake of him potentially firing me if I don't put this on our watch list, but no, I'm kidding when I say that, of course. But this should be a no-brainer. This LAC definitely will put back on our list here. All right, so we'll keep it going here, folks. Jinko Solar, JKS. This stock we see at times on the gainers list, and when we do, I'll always reference the fact that going back into the end of last year, I think it was, on this weekly chart, I'll show you the daily. The daily is even crazier to show. This is one of the cleanest looking uptrends I've ever seen on a daily chart. This doesn't get any better than that. So, it's just to say those types of moves, whether it be across one given day or a series of days like you see here, it's hard to forget. So Jinko Solar, anytime that we see this on the gainers or losers list, we'll look at pretty quickly. It's at the highs right now. It's definitely more of like a level 3 to 4 stock, just given the liquidity, also the price. AMC, I'd rather trade over this, but for right now, I'll put this on our list also. I'll kind of put this on the back end there with the AEZS. I'll tell you what, I'm happy I got out on CEI, that's for sure. Always got to set your stops, folks. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list here, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. Normally there is not. If anything, there's maybe like one or usually there's like one on the losers list that looks all right. EEIQ and PETS and KAVL and BHIL. I don't know what these stocks are, but they're down enough to where I'll check them out for a potential dead cat bounce. CRVS is a familiar name, so that one I definitely am interested, at least in the ticker. But yeah, it's not easy to borrow. It's hard to borrow, and then otherwise, it's not really presenting any good buying opportunity for us here. So pass on that. There we go. Nice run back up on Bed Bath. So there we go. BBBY. I will put on our list here. I mean, definitely was trading a lot of volume per minute. It was very tradable just given that. And yeah, for right now, it's, hey, if it's not going to break any lower, there's only one other way the stock's going to go here at the time. You have a trend line test just for that to act as potential resistance here, perhaps. But otherwise, your next major level up top would be off 18. All right, so this one looks pretty good, right? This is the one from the losers list, perhaps, but I was actually relating that more so in the sense of a stock that's at the lows, it's dropping off. That could be a good short. Party City potentially could be that. I'm not going to put it on our list just yet. This would be on our kind of side list for today. It's not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute as we're used to seeing it trade. It's at the lows, and if it could break lower, that would be a pretty interesting short. ALT perhaps also. This stock's been all over the place the last few days. Ended up dropping off in pre-market back on Tuesday morning. Ended up filling the gap completely on the way up. Dropped all the way back down, closed at the lows yesterday, and then opened up obviously much lower. That's a crazy move, right? Go all the way back up, all the way back down within a matter of 3 days. Right now, it's dropping off, right? I'm not as particular about it here for the close. It's just not really trading a lot of volume per minute like some of the others we've kind of been rejecting here so far. I'll tell you what, I am so freaking happy I got out on that CEI. That was on a large position, folks. So that was on a few thousand shares. I don't mind taking a 4-cent loss. If it's on a larger share count, then obviously it's more money lost. But otherwise, I'd rather get out where I did compared to having it drop down to 360, right? And that stock's tanking now, the CEI. All right, folks, let me know if there's anything else that I missed. AMC has just been on fire this whole time here since we talked about it. So obviously AMC going to be on our list. Daniel F also saying SNDL. Ooh, pot stock ended up making a nice run, and more than just a pot stock, it's also a stock that ended up running going back into the beginning of this year with all of the Reddit stocks there too. Check out Tilray, TLRY. This ended up popping at 215. At first, I dismissed this initially, but I don't know if this is in relation to just pot or if those are moving with the AMC trade as a whole, because it seems like AMC started to pop at 230. Tilray, a little bit before that. So perhaps it's a combination of both. We'll take a look on Benzinga Pro right now for news on Tilray quickly. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. All right. So there is news out with the pot industry just in regards to federal legalization of it. Bill to federally legalize marijuana is approved by the Key House Committee. That's a little news snippet there. So even furthermore, good reason for us to put the SNDL on our watch list. Good reason for us to put the Tilray trade on our watch list. And I think with that, we're going to kind of give the boot to the AEZS trade there. I don't like putting too many stocks on our watch lists for right now. All right. So, folks, hey, if there's anything else, definitely let me know. A couple of good call outs from YouTube so far. If there's anything from Cyber Group that you would want me to check out, definitely let me know otherwise. PALT trade done for the day, or do you think it has something left? So we looked at it yesterday, right? Yesterday. Today, I wouldn't really bet against history repeating itself. So I feel like this is just only likely to continue to drop off. Uh, that's my thought on it. I wouldn't be as interested in this. If it does make some freak pop up, then God bless. But I just expect this to repeat what it did yesterday, unfortunately. All right, folks. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, and I think that just about does it otherwise, folks. So I think in total we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stocks on the watch list. I didn't really overload it. Not too bad. All right, but I'll tell you what, otherwise, we got a packed out list here with stocks that we are pretty familiar with. AMC, Space, Tilray, SNDL, just those 4 to begin. And then otherwise, we are pretty familiar with the LPTX. We are pretty familiar with the LAC trade with the, obviously, Bed Bath Beyond. How could I not include that where I'm talking about AMC, right? So this thing's already on the way up to 18 and testing it here as we speak. So I like this afternoon, folks. I think that we're in store for a pretty exciting market close here. If you want to join us here on social media for the next hour ahead, hour and 10 minutes, feel more than free to do so by going right down to the link on the banner below of the stream just to get yourself started on a week-long trial. But for all of us otherwise that are there, for Lewis, Brian, Leda, and all of us otherwise inside Cyber Group, I look forward to speaking to you folks coming up pretty shortly. I know that Rich will be on the mic at 3, and I'll be on the mic at 3:30. I'll talk to you all soon.